It's ready. We are ready now to continue our Philpot devotional. Um, Today, the Philpot devotional is taken from the Second Corinthians 4:7. We have this treasure in earthen vessels. Gold and silver, those precious metals, take no injury, receive no spot of corruption from the vessel in which they are contained. Let them be buried in the damp earth, no tarnish or rust forms upon them. So spiritually the grace of God in the heart, surrounded as it is with corruption, is not tarnished by it. The heavenly treasure is not contaminated though lodged in an earthen vessel. Christ in the heart is not defiled by the inward workings of depravity and by the base thoughts that strive perpetually against his grace, any more than the gold of the Bank of England is defiled by the dark and damp cellars in which it is stowed. And what a mercy it is that our corruptions cannot tarnish the grace of God, that our unbelief cannot mix with and adulterate the faith of God's elect, that our despondency cannot spoil and ruin our gospel hope, that our deadness, darkness, coldness, and rebellion cannot mingle with and defile the love of God in the soul. This heavenly treasure remains still as unpolluted and pure as when God first put it there, being a part of the divine nature. It remains uncontaminated by the filth and corruption that surrounds it. Is not this a mercy for God's tried people? That spiritual knowledge, living faith, gospel hope, heavenly love, and the fruits and graces of God's Spirit in the soul can never be defiled, but like the streams of a fountain are ever gushing forth in pure water. What a blessing it is that the pure grace of God in a man's heart cannot be contaminated by the filthy streams that are dashing from a vile nature against it, like the torrents of water from a fire engine against a burning house, but remains as pure as when God the Spirit first breathed in the soul. J.C. Philpot, 1802 to 1869. Well, I had some thoughts about that. I'm glad that God's grace cannot be hindered by our own fleshly corruptions. Many times we think that we have everything under control, and then God reminds us that He's in control. And we are constantly reminded that we are earthen vessels. And it never ceases to amaze me. I know I use that phrase a lot. It never ceases to amaze me how anyone can ever think that they can attain any kind of perfection in this body of clay. From dust we have been taken, and dust we will return. But however, as it relates to our spiritual nature, as it relates to Jesus Christ, imputed righteousness, it can never be tainted by the flesh, because He took on the form of flesh, and He died, and He did not stay in the grave, but He rose again for our justification. And if He hadn't have been resurrected, we would be yet dead in our sins. So let us remember that it's His completed work that causes us to be made righteous in the eyes of God, not anything in of ourselves. God bless.